How do you solve a problem you can't see? How do you prove it's even there at all? This is the conundrum facing residents in Red Hook, Brooklyn, a community with some of the highest asthma rates in the country. Some say air pollution is making the problem worse. Road traffic is the most obvious culprit, but others think the Brooklyn cruise terminal is having a large impact too.
The sort of fuel that this ship is burning would not be allowed on land. It's 1,000 times more dirty than the stuff the trucks use.
Adam Armstrong began campaigning to reduce cruise terminal emissions 20 years ago. He wanted New York's Economic Development Corporation, who run the terminal, to install a shore power system so ships could connect to the power grid and not burn diesel.
Or people out, people in, no one is staying in Red Hook, and even that couple we spoke to at the gate there, it's like, where's the train? We're getting out of here. The cruise ship companies will always burn the fuel because it's cheaper. Okay. So if their option is to burn fuel or plug in, it's an extra expense to plug in, So there's a big truck bringing in fruits and vegetables. So, they'll bring everything in. Sometimes they bring them from interstate. Carnival used to bring stuff from Florida.
Such systems have been in use for many years in places like California and Alaska, and can reduce ship emissions by over 90%. The EDC did install a shore power system in Red Hook in 2017, but it has been fraught with problems, with many ships equipped for shore power being unable or unwilling to plug in.
And so the cables will go through like a little hole like that in the side of the ship. Oh, okay. So they go just through, around that height into the side of the ship. It's a blue little crane looking thing. It's probably about 8 feet tall. If you don't see that whole thing connected, then it's not happening.
On this occasion, this Princess Line ship was plugged in, but this is not always the case.
In July, I think, when one of the ships was in, it was not plugged in. I went around the bow of the ship, actually the stern of the ship on the ferry, and I could see, again, cables dangling in the wind, not connected. So
the MSC Meraviglia, a 5,000 berth cruise ship that began docking this year, is physically unable to connect its shore power equipment to the Red Hook terminal. Diesel fumes continue to pollute Red Hook's air. Scientific studies at other ports have shown cruise ships can have a significant long-term impact on the health of nearby residential areas. Yet in Red Hook, there is no official monitoring of air quality or pollutants. Instead, the community has taken the matter into its own hands. A collaboration of local non-profits has set up a community air monitoring scheme. This has shown that Red Hook has worse air pollution than surrounding neighbourhoods. The current leader of the project at the Red Hook Initiative, Carolyn Ferguson, feels that the impacts of air pollution in Red Hook are an unacceptable and unfair burden.
Those idling cruise ships, they release about the same amount of diesel as 34,000 idling tractor trailers. 34,000, I can't even picture what 34,000 tractor trailers look like. Doesn't matter if you're a quick turnaround, plug in. You feel like you're just here for a few minutes, but people are living here a lifetime. And it's like, why? Because we're brown and we're black, it's okay. We can sustain poor health more stronger than other people? No.
Betty Bernhart, a long-time resident of Red Hook, says the conditions in the public housing where she lives makes her more vulnerable to extra pollution, like that produced by the cruise ships.
And it's due too because you're living in the condition of mold in your apartments and leaks and stuff like that. And if you have a respiratory, problem like I do, any little thing is going to affect you. Because if it was a rich neighborhood, I tell you this much, half of the stuff that's going on here would have never been going on. Yeah. Because I just hope to God that, something gets done because the pollution out here is really bad.
But what is being done? In a statement, the EDC said it was in the process of procuring and deploying additional shore power infrastructure for the Brooklyn Cruise Terminal to allow additional ships to connect whilst in port. In a letter to Red Hook Council member Alexa Aviles, the EDC gave a date in the third quarter of 2024. However, the city had reported just months earlier that the system was meant to be installed by the end of this year. So it seems until the shore power is improved, Red Hook residents are expected to endure the 80% of cruise ship berths that will not connect to shore power next year. For Betty and Adam, this is an unsurprising yet sad reminder of how the city government continues to neglect Red Hook residents.
Our lives matter. Our breathing matters. It's just sad. To them, it's like one last person. Okay, whoops, bye.
The scales always tip on the side of economic benefit or industry or cruise ships or last mile trucking or whatever, just showing people that lived in Red Hook that really their quality of life came last.